Ladies and gentlemen, good morning or good afternoon in the USA and good morning, good evening in Spain, right? Welcome to NMP PCH HayaBusa. Thanks guys for taking the time again. Did you train today?
We did some jumps, yeah. It was not training, it was more actually some fun jumps. Just like the whole week, we were already like doing some fun jumps just to let off some steam, and actually the camp is almost coming to an end.
So what do you think about the new US president?
Next question.
Move on.
Interesting.
Okay, we're gonna ignore the politics here. It's a smart thing to do, I guess. Well, look what we have here behind me. I'm a fan of HayaBusa. Everybody knows, the reigning 4-way world champions, newly reigned in Chicago. You have started the training for the next year already. You are in Spain in Ampuriya Brava now. So how hard are you training at this point in time?
We had the Mondial, we had the World Cup, and now we're back here in Ampuriya. Like Dave said, we're doing some jumps, so we're doing some fun jumps. At the same time, we're doing some R&D for next year. Some blocks that we needed to get some better times on, maybe change a little bit of technique, and those are the things that we're already doing for next year.
You're changing techniques. Tell us a little bit more about that. What are the new secrets, the new HayaBusa secret?
I think we're going back to basic. I think also here in the wind tunnel and wind door, we're doing some one-on-ones again, just to make ourselves more stronger and more confident. And just like Andy says, we're retesting, redeveloping some block technique that carry things that is really necessary. And well, it's so far so good. It's not on speed yet. I mean, we're not doing it on the full speed yet. It's still very slow motion and watching and seeing all the pictures, just like teaching a new team.
Can you say that again for my audience? Because I'm relating so often to HayaBusa when I'm telling people, believe it or not, but when HayaBusa is training on something and they want to get better, they go back to one-on-one training and to the basics. Can you please one more time?
Yeah, so basically, as Dave says, now we came back from our big goal, Chicago, and actually now what we need to do is go back from scratch and build it up again for the next 2 years. So where do you start? It's with the basics, and it's how you fly. So we're doing that. We're doing that now. We're looking at our individual skills. Where do we struggle? What can we improve on the individual side? And then slowly we build it up to, like Andy says, a little bit of block technique, seeing what we can invent or do better there. And then, yeah, as next year and goes on, we put the whole puzzle together again for the next World Meet. So yeah, that's basically what we're doing now.
Can you give an example? Like, people have a hard time probably to comprehend this, including myself. Like, what kind of an individual skill is Dennis Praet working on to become better than he already is? Well, what's your weakness?
Maybe Kurt, I can.
Okay, let's take Bob.
If you train for 4-way, it goes at times so quick that you don't really get a chance to really focus on the technique. Like, for example, a 16, I need to turn a compressed forward with Dave. But by the time I pick up my grip, it's keyed and you need to go and you need to be fast, you need to arrive and get on with the next point. So if you do like the one-on-one stuff, you're nice and relaxed, you build a compressed just with 2 in the center of the tunnel, and you spin a compressed. And that's basically it. You try to feel it, how's the tension, how's the level. And you can do that for every block or stuff that you fly together. And then of course the individual flying as well, you can really see how's your stability and that kind of stuff, like block 7, whatever. individual stuff you have in the four-way, you can really break it up and fly with two people or just do some drills. It's the basics, so that's what you need to be able to speed it up, huh?
You know what? This is so great to hear. It is so nice to get this out of the HayaBusa laboratory, you know, to hear this kind of feedback, because people have just a hard time to, you know, to understand what do you do actually, you know, to become a better team, and how do you break it down, and what do you really, you know, train on to become a better skydiver and a better team. So that is super helpful, and I'm glad, you know, I really appreciate that you openly come up with it. So Andy, what's your weakness?
Yeah, if I can be honest, sometimes I'm still struggling. Like, something's like if I do a 360, sometimes I'm still using like an older technique, and then when I have time, if I use my own one-on-one time that I have, like to work individually, then I work on the 360s. So
amazing.
that's like a small example of what we're doing here.
Yeah, it's a small example. I understand that, but it's great. Okay, so that is not really you're starting at scratch, and that's, you know, the basic beginning training now for the next season, and then comes a break, right? I mean, HayaBusa, Dave and I talked about it a little bit earlier, but you used to take actually a good break at the end of the competition season to get, you know, recharge and all that kind of stuff, for an exception when Dubai came up, right? So then the break wasn't that longer, but now this is your last training, and then comes a real break.
Yeah, exactly.
The old HayaBusa tradition.
I mean, we are still in the tunnel, because already, well, in December there was a little A2A competition in France, in Lille indoor, that we attend with Thunderbirds. So we trained last week or 2 weeks ago, and then we're also training again next week, so that we want to be like ready for that competition. Although it's very small and local, it's nice to do something else. And then the Wind Games here in Ampuriya Brava in Windor is up in the end of January, beginning of February. So we will also work towards that. And then from then on, so actually February, the 2017 season restarts. So actually it's a very short break on the end of the year, and then for the rest it's just continuing. But it's like you said, now that Dubai fell away, the season looks a little bit more different than what we had the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm. So Mondial, then we saw you at the FAI Indoor World Cup. And then I guess you were just watching the USPA Nationals as much as you could to take a closer look at what's coming to you and in the next years. So what are your observations after seeing what happened at the USPA Nationals? Are you scared?
I think we saw. Sorry.
Are you scared?
Well, I think we saw a typical like airspeed way of flying, style of flying, very compact, efficient techniques and stuff like that. So, well, it's kind of it's not when we look at it, it looks very in control but very efficient. So, and that's in my eyes an airspeed way of flying. You know. It's like I always compare it with, you have the old French style, which is very dynamic, a lot of energy, but maybe not that efficient as what airspeed can do. But they were just so much more dynamic, and that's for me the two different styles. And I think you need a bit of both. So that's what we try to do. You know, we try to be very dynamic but efficient at the same time.
So Thomas is not going to be there any longer. You know, that was Thomas' last competition, as everybody knows. And do you think their style will change? You know that. I mean, I'm sure you know all the details. Like Nicholas is taking the center outside slot, right? And so what are you?
Right, Kurt. Is Nicholas taking the center outside slot? Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
No, because that was information that's actually brand new for me, so I didn't know. I thought he stayed in inside center and then maybe an internal switch, but I never knew that Nicolas was going outside center.
That's what he told me last time, and I haven't done. I think I mentioned this somewhere already in one of the stories. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, that's what he said, and you know, I believe that. Of course, we will see it for sure next time when we see some training. But that was his plan, you know, to replace Thomas in that slot is very important for airspeed, obviously. I guess, you know, that you would see it the same way. The center outside is quite a slot, right, Andy? Tell us about center outside there a little bit.
Well, it's not that much different than another slot, so. But I think the airspeed has to, like, how you say, they need to do some training jumps to evaluate all their
little more, please.
So I think that airspeed needs to go into training, and then they just need to do some jumps to see where everybody feels comfortable in their slots, like where the team thinks that they can be better.
Yeah.
That's what they will probably do, or already made that decision. So also for us, watching the U.S. Nationals was interesting, but at the same time, it's not really. It didn't tell us anything yet because they still need to do the change with Thomas. So in that case, we're still actually very curious about what the whole lineup will bring to the table next year.
Yeah. We'll see. And who would you expect? Are you expecting SB to come back as your opponent, or do you think Rhythm XP has a chance to threaten them?
It's hard to tell. You know, like Rhythm already has now one season under their belt, and they will gain experience. And I think this is what they will really need. They need to gain experience. While on the other side, Airspeed has experience, and they have to bring one guy up to speed. So it's going to be hard. It's actually going to be a very interesting nationals in next season. And what we'll try to do is we'll try to attend those nationals as well. We already put it in our schedule, and we will try to come to the U.S. nationals too.
It will be interesting to see the first confrontation at the Shamrock. That's where they're gonna see each other for the first time in that competition. So that's the eye level, the starting point for both. Exciting to see that. So if you look at the international picture some more, where do you expect more competition coming from the USA or from France or from Qatar maybe, or?
France is upcoming.
I think France for sure is like really stepping it up, especially if you look at the jumps from Chicago. They came back from 5th to 3rd place, I think, which is an incredible performance. So if they can continue like jumping at that high level, then for sure we have like a good team to jump against. And of course the US, we will need to evaluate after the Shamrock, which is going to be the new team to look at. So it could go any direction. Could be like just a small step back for airspeed, or maybe they just need to reinvent like their slots or their system. You never know. If you start with a new guy, it might go very fast back to the old speed, or you might jump into more issues.
It's a young team too, coming from France, right? Very young team too. So I guess we find out more. We see them at the Shamrock too, hopefully.
No, they have some experience in the team. They are young. They are light. They fly very fast, and I think if they can get it under control, like not the old French style, but something in between, like Dennis says, then for sure you have a good team.
Have you put in your request for Shamrock too?
Not for next year.
Not next
That's
year.
not on our schedule.
We thought it was a little bit too early in the season, so we actually wanted to take it up on airspeed and rhythm when they already have one complete season when they train.
Okay.
And for us, we're coming out of the winter season. We're taking a very long break, jumping wise. I mean, so the Shamrock was not ideal. Like, so,
Yeah, so it will be the next year, the World Meet year, that will be the one that might be more interesting. What about the Thunder? How are the Thunderbirds doing? Is that still kind of like a little recreational adventure for you to get some see something else, or is it gonna be a competition this year maybe with 8-way, or what are the plans?
Well, as of the end of 2016, we will continue with the Thunderbirds for sure. So Thunder and HayaBusa together. We had a great training camp 2 weeks ago in the weekend. It was very promising. We trained 5 hours on 3 days. It was very good, very high level. And next week we have our second weekend actually where we train 5 hours. And I have to say that it feels already much more better than when we started last year or when we ended last year at the Clash of Champions. 2016 for us was of course the main goal to win the Mondial. So we put it the 8-way a little bit on the side. Now it restarted, and actually with the upcoming 2017, we've planned, just like Andy mentioned, we planned the US Nationals, the World Cup, 4 and 8-way, some indoor and outdoor tunnels as well, local, like 4 and 8-way. So yeah, I think, well, Thunder's split up. I think you have to ask them what went wrong or what is like why. And but we know that like Sven and Wesley are still continuing. And actually next year is going to be like a total new, like a total Belgium lineup. So we are actually able to do the World Cup for Belgium.
Oh, so the 8-way lineup will be a Belgium. The Thunderbirds will be a Belgium. So you have 2 new guys for the 8-way?
Yeah, so the Thunderbirds name will not exist anymore. We will bring out a new name, what we already have in mind, but the others don't know yet.
Okay. Oh, that's good news. I didn't know. I had no idea. So who are the new guys in the Belgian 8-way team? In the Belgian HayaBusa 8-way team?
Well, I think if you contact Sven, he will tell you when the time is right. I think at the moment it's not for us to tell it yet, but I mean it's not a big secret. But I think if you ask Sven, we will gladly enough tell it to the rest of the audience. Yeah.
So Sven is in charge for the 8-way team, basically.
And then 2017 is a build-up phase. Maybe I'm telling a big maybe because I'm not quite sure how Gary thinks about it, and we need to like also ask our coach. But 2018 we will see if it's doable to do the 2 events.
No, that is interesting news. Thank you.
We need to ask Gary, and we need to know this year if it's possible, yes or no. So, for example, if it's the same situation like how Russia was in Mondial, then I think it's not able for us. I mean, it's not for us. But if we have more time in between and we can like because we're new in 8-way, you know, we have the experience of an 8-way team like Russia or another powerhouse. We're new, and if it comes up, and 2017 is like a great test, then who knows? Maybe we do the 8-way on the World Championship in 2018 or wherever it may be.
Well, it's not a Mondial, it's a World Championship, and traditionally at the World Championships they're separating the events, so that might be good timing for that. Okay, so well, those are official news now, as we are speaking officially and publicly here, so that I can spread.
I mean, but it's like it's a team decision. We have to address it with Gary as well, and also we have to convince our bosses that if we do both events, that the 4-way is not exactly like Dennis said, sacrificed for results. So main target is still 4-way, keep the sword in building.
But it's a civilian 8-way team then, of course.
Yes,
because
exactly.
All right. Well, thank you for the update. That is very exciting news, and I think let's leave the audience shocked with that breaking news, and I'll let you go. Thank you very much for taking the time, guys. And enjoy the rest of your time in Empuria Brava.
Thank you very much,
Good
Stuart.
luck with everything.